Well, hello. Thank you for joining me for another Acoustic Alternatives podcast. I'm John Bommarito. This is from Grove Studios in Ypsilanti, a fantastic little place. If you're a musician or a DJ or a podcaster looking for a place to do your thing, this is a place I would highly recommend. Take a tour online, Grove Studios. Take a gander at the other podcasts that are being done here. I'm just one of about 5 being done from this particular studio. And this time I'm welcoming an old friend back. Well, not to this podcast because it's the first time Jill has been on the podcast, but certainly an old friend. Jill Jack is with me this time. How are you, Jill?
Good. I really like it here. I like your new home.
My new home, yeah.
Yes, it's really cool. Really cool.
It's my home every couple of weeks, and it's they've been very welcoming and very kind to me. So I definitely, this is a good bunch of people here. I'd like you to. I wish you could meet more than just Max, who's behind the scenes today and helping us out.
Max rocks, and he's got awesome socks. And that rhymes, by the way. Okay, so there's a new song for you, Max.
Very well done. Well, Jill, you're one of the most celebrated performers from the Detroit music scene. I mean, we talk about this almost every time, but if I look at the Wikipedia page for the Detroit Music Awards, and I look to find Jill Jack within that page, it has 31 occurrences of your name, which isn't even how many you've won, dating back to 2005. You've won more than that. Thornetta Davis has 21 entries. She might be the closest behind you. I don't really know. I don't know who keeps track of these things, but
I don't know either.
it's something to celebrate. I mean,
it really is. There was a period of time where I was a little embarrassed by it because people would say things sometimes. It was, oh, she wins again. But I think as I'm getting older, and things are narrowing as far as time goes.
Yeah.
I'm really happy and honored and blessed that I can still make music. The DMAs are coming up again in April, and I was so excited. I mean, it was like almost like it felt like a first for me because my new tunes, I released singles, and both of them were up for awards. And I shot my own video, and one of them was up for a video, and it was so nice to still be excited about it. You know what I mean?
Recognized by your peers.
Yeah. And it's just really, I work hard and I'm not saying other people don't, but it's important that people understand that, I bust my butt,
right.
So I enjoy it. I really do. And I am honored by it. And I'm moving them. My daughter's moving out this weekend, so I'm moving all the awards, and they're going to be all in one place now. Because right now they're spread out all over the house, wherever we can put them. Now they're going to be in one spot, so it'll be nice.
Take a picture, put it on your website.
I will.
That's a good plan.
Yeah.
Well, let's get started with maybe one of those new tunes you have up for an award. What would you like to start with today?
I'm going to do a song called Jamestown Town, and I wrote this when I was stranded in Jamestown, New York. I was on a tour. And I was supposed to go to Jamestown for a radio show and then leave there and go to another place in Buffalo, New York, I think. And that gig burned down.
Yeah, I remember that. I specifically remember that.
So I ended up just staying, and the people were so ridiculously nice. They set me up with places to stay. They fed me. I even got a gig while I was there. I did a songwriter workshop too, and they're just the kindest people. So, I can take this off, right?
Yes, for singing purposes. Jill Jack on Acoustic Alternatives.
Let's do that. Okay, hang on. Here we go. Let's not show everybody my makeup on my mask.
Snow is melting off the trees in this Jamestown town. People getting ready for the holiday. I'm just a stranger roaming through this Jamestown town, but they treat me like I'm here to stay, where everybody knows your name and everybody shared your pain, and it's placed in my soul a hope that will remain, and where their kindness gave new meaning to the big old word of empathy, I guarantee will stay with me till my dying day here in Jamestown town. Boarded a buildings here in this Jamestown town. Well, twinkling lights to hide the pain. I'm walking night streets of this Jamestown town, feeling the cold of the winter strain, where there's a hand to hold and a prayer that has been told, and a long dark road to carry me through the night, and poor lost souls just like me, surrounded by a family with stories that make me feel like I've been here all my life in Jamestown town. Just when I'm about to give up on all mankind, the kindness of strangers has changed my mind. Yeah, packing my bags and leave this Jamestown town. I know I'll never be the same. Maybe the first, not the last in this Jamestown town. 'Cause now I know everybody's name. And I'm different than I was before, and this old town has changed the score of what I thought this poor world was coming to. And as I move on down the road to the next old town that I'll call home, I'll be thinking how my dusty soul feels shiny and new, thanks to Jamestown town. Ooh, thanks to Jamestown town.
Jill Jack joins me today on Acoustic Alternatives, unmasked for a little bit as she
Yeah.
sings. And
Feels good.
got to throw it back on a talk. Oh, sorry, my friend.
Oh, I gotta put them back
Yes,
on.
all
Okay.
right. Just for the
Oh, it's all good.
compliance of sorts, and we're
Yes.
just trying to behave here.
Yes.
One of your newest songs, when you're two newest. Have you even had a chance to play that out at a show yet? Has that been?
No, that's what.
Sorry to bring that up, but-
I take that back. I think I did do it at the Arc 2 years ago, but I needed the words even then, and so I have the words now. But I got to learn it because I do have a show coming up, and I've got to learn.
One of the reasons you're on this week is because you have that art gig coming up. Give the date for that.
It's March 20th,
Okay.
and I'm really looking forward to. It was supposed to be my birthday bash that I do every year, and we were all scheduled to go. And then my husband was around someone who had been exposed to COVID, and I wasn't comfortable risking doing that show because it was going to be live from the Arc stage, and I didn't want to get my boys in the band or the sound guys or anybody. You just didn't know.
No.
So my poor husband had to, hide away for a couple weeks, and then he ended up not having it, thank God.
Yeah.
But so we rescheduled, and we're so excited to be on the stage. I can't wait to be on the Arc stage. It's going to be magical.
That is good. They're actually letting you do it from the stage.
Yeah, and it is going to be streamed on Facebook. So the beautiful thing is, it's heart wrenching not to have an audience. It really is.
Yeah.
When I try to find the light at the end of the tunnel, there, it is nice to know that more people can see the show. So that is a good thing.
And it'll be the first birthday bash where weather isn't a factor.
What's so weird is we have had, I think the worst, we had like 12 inches one year, and we sold out, and it was crazy the amount of people and where they came from.
Yeah.
They came from all over the country. And I was like, you're nuts, man.
Yeah.
I would have stayed home.
Totally nuts.
For sure.
Well, look forward to that. This is not the first time you've been on a show of mine called Acoustic Alternatives. We met initially when I was at WHFR in Dearborn, and I was using that name for a show, and I just revived it for this show because it was a good name. And I'd like to go back even farther than that before I even met you. Where did you go to high school, and would I have liked you back then?
Would you have liked me?
Would we have been friends?
You know, I went to Berkeley High School, and I was one of those people that was like friends with all different kinds of groups. So, you know, I was in sports, believe it or not.
Really?
But I was also in
What did you play?
choir. I played basketball and volleyball.
Oh.
And I really, you know, I loved the arts people. I was in student council. But so there were the creative people, then there were the party girls. I was in that group too. I still am friends with my friends from high school, believe it or not. We have a group that we're just really tight. And I think we would have got along, John. You think you would have liked me?
Probably.
Okay, cool.
I mean, you've always been super kind to me and supportive, and I've tried to give you exactly the same back. So
you always have.
I think we would have been friends.
We would have been friends. You remind me of one of my friends who I'm still friends with to this day. His name's Scotty. I went to my first homecoming with him, and I was a little wild child though. I jumped over the fence and went in the pool at the hotel, and we probably should have got kicked out. But he's so kind, and we're still friends to this day. I mean, when I tour, he shows up at different shows all over. You know, it's really cool.
What did Jill want to be when she was a kid?
A nurse.
Really? Mm-hmm. And what kept you from doing that?
Well, I went to nursing school and found out I hated chemistry and biology, and I liked 25-cent beer night instead. But
okay.
no, I didn't retain it. Now, if you asked me if I liked working in hospitals and with patients, and I loved the energy of being in a hospital. My dad was a doctor, my mom was a nurse. So I was a nurse's aide from, you know, we did that co-op thing in high school, and then I worked where my dad worked in the summers. And I loved working with people. I really did. And I loved helping people and making people feel better. So the way I put it now is that I still do that, but I don't have to empty bedpans. So, yeah.
That's a win. That's a win.
It's a win. But I got to say that during the pandemic, my heart did tug. Like, man, if I would have finished nursing, I could have helped. I could have been on the front line a little bit more. But I just helped with music instead.
That's good for the soul.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
hard to quantify that in any other way, really.
Yeah,
Without
absolutely.
it, I wouldn't be here without it. I would have offed myself years ago if music hadn't been there to save me.
I hear that so much from people, and people have sent me emails and come to me at my shows and said that my music has gotten them through things that, I did have people who have said that they were going to commit suicide, but my music saved them. And just to know that is, well, it's like, whoa. But, you know, and then other people saying that got them through chemo, and people who've asked me before they passed away if I'd sing at their funeral. It's just, it's been a gift that I'm allowed to keep giving it. That's what I like, you know.
Besides band leader and nurse's aide, what other kinds of jobs have you held as an adult or even a young adult?
Well, I always worked 2 jobs. I have no idea why. But I worked, my mom made me work at what was that? My very first job. It was at a dry cleaners, and I had to be up at 6 a.m. It was horrible. And all my friends were working at like the ice cream places or the donut places. And here I was at that place. So I've done that, but babysitting was huge for me. And then secretarial work, I did that, administrative work. And so, yeah, I've worn a lot of different hats.
And I bet your favorite one is this one.
You bet. That's my favorite for sure.
You got a little bit of a late start, though, right?
I did. I was afraid. You know, I let fear get in the way. I thought people would make fun of me. I didn't think I had talent. It was hard to take myself seriously, I think. And thanks to my ex-husband, Dave Jack, who's a drummer, and he introduced me to a lot of different people and let me sing backup in some of his bands. And Stuart Frankie and the Forbes brothers, we're going way back, they all took me under their wing, and I just was like a sponge. And I realized I was hungry, and I really wanted to do it. So I made up for lost time and just put out a bunch of records, you know? And I mean, when you make a choice that's right in your life, literally doors open. So 6 months after I decided to go solo, we opened for Jethro Tull, you know, and it just was like that. It was just like, I mean, I remember then a couple weeks later, they asked me to open for Dan Fogelberg, you know, and it was just like, I wasn't even prepared. I mean, I wish that would happen now more, because now I've got all this under my wing. But back then, they had to push me out on the stage at Meadowbrook because I was like, they're like, is she ready? I'm like, no. My knees were shaking so bad. Wow. But, I just love every opportunity I've had.
It's awesome.
I had a blessing of a career, for sure.
For sure. This seems like a good time to do maybe something older since we were talking about that. I have no idea
Sure.
what you plan to play today, but
I didn't really have anything. I did, but as I was driving here, I'm like, no, I don't feel like doing that.
Whatever song you feel like. Something.
Yeah, so
we're in the past a little bit. So.
In the past, what would you like to hear? Oh, I can take this off again. Do you have any requests?
Whatever your guitar is singing to you. Maybe something from your first couple albums, since we were all the way back there.
Let's do. This is off my first album, Stirs My Soul. This was always a big wedding request. People would ask me to do it at their weddings. And it was so funny because mostly it was men. They would say, my wife will be so happy if you would surprise her at the wedding. So literally they'd move me back through the kitchen. One time it was with my daughter. I promised to take her to the movies. So I go, Mommy's just got to go sing one song and then we can go to the movies. They snuck me through the kitchen. She sat there eating French fries, waiting for me to be done. But this is it. Stirs My Soul.
He lifts me up when I'm feeling down. He could knock me off my chair and make my head spin round. He could make me laugh on a gray day. He could also make me cry without one damn word to say. He stirs my soul. He takes me where no other man dared to go. He stirs my soul. He takes me where no other man dared to go. He could take me to heaven on a passion ride. Oh, he could also take me to hell. He shows my evil side, or he would move mountains to help me through. But then stand in my own way to show who really rules. He stirs my soul. He takes me where no other man dared to go. He stirs my soul. He takes me where no other man dared to go. He came to my life when I least expected it, and he came in so slow. Now I can't possibly reject him. Oh, I'll never let him go. No, no, no. Never let him go. Never let him go. Sometimes he's got the strength of 10 men. Then he'd have tears roll down his face. He'd look like a child again. His whisper sweet and gentle in my ear. Well, then his roar comes out like a lion, shows takes me where no other man dared to go. He stirs my soul. He takes me where no other man, no other man, no other man. He stirs my soul. He takes me where no other man never dared to go. He stirs my soul. He takes me where no other man dared to go.
Classic Jill Jack, 2+ decades old now. That one is. Stirs
Oh
my
my
soul. Sorry, I'm
God,
trying to make
this
it sound.
sounds horrible.
No, it doesn't sound horrible. It sounds like you've been around. And
2 decades.
one
Whoa.
of the reasons you are one of the most celebrated performers, you're also one of the most recognizable names in the Detroit music scene. When I looked at the list of who was nominated this year, I mean, I know I try to keep up with the scene the best I can. I didn't know a lot of names anymore. I felt kind of like, but there's Jill, there's Billy, there, people I recognize. But
Yeah, I think I'm so excited that some names are not recognizable, but I think I think it's it's a different era. When we were starting out, we were lucky enough to have a lot of places to play. And a lot of them were bars at the beginning, but they were very supportive of local music and original music. And now the up and coming artists are battling these cover bands. And don't get me wrong, cover bands are fine and they make a great living and everybody.
And there's a place for them.
And there's a place for them for sure. But what happens is that you don't stretch the minds of the listener. And I mean, I was doing a gig not last summer, but the summer before, obviously. And this man who does some booking in a certain city, I'm like, why don't you let me have my band here? He always books me acoustic and I want to have the band there. And he's like, well, we got to have the Beatlemania. We got to have this. And I'm like, what about just stretching? Oh, Jill, come on. It's just like, oh my God. Right.
No way.
So I really, if anybody's out there that's an artist, just keep plugging along, stay true to yourself and just keep doing it. There are places, and by golly, if I have to open my own someday, I will, and let everybody play there.
Good. I'll help you run it.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
So 2 decades in, tell me about a career dream of yours that has been realized.
Playing, that was easy. Playing at the Palace of Auburn Hills.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is that the Bob Seger show?
The Bob Seger show.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
And actually touring with him, we went to Canada with him as well. And, it was so funny because being on stage there for sound check, the stage manager told me that Seeger would probably watch the sound check. And I'm like, don't tell me that. Just don't even tell me that. And I saw him, but I pretended like he wasn't there. But somebody came up to me during sound check from Seeger's people, and he was like, are you nervous? I'm like, no. And he goes, you're so calm. And I said, honey, I've been waiting for this my whole life. I've been preparing for this my whole life. And that moment of playing to 20,000 people was just phenomenal. Now, don't get me wrong. The next night, Mark and I drove to Indiana, and we played for 20 people. And we had just as much fun. I mean, so...
More interaction.
But yeah, definitely more intimate interaction. But the intensity of seeing that many people, and there were so many people that I recognized and that were there and were so excited that I was there. It was like a huge celebration.
I was sad to miss it, actually.
Yeah, I'm bummed. I would have got you backstage, dude.
Come on.
Why not? Yeah, I would have. That's cool.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of dreams, tell me about Dream Big.
Well, Dream Big is something I started. I started doing staff songwriting, like retreats and things like that, and I found that people would sign up to talk to me, but it wasn't about necessarily their songs. It was more about how to stay with it, how to believe in yourself, how to work this crazy business. And more young people and their parents were coming up to me and asking me to help them. And I thought, you know what, there's something here. So I started a business. My first office was in Pontiac, and then I moved to Ferndale, a couple different places. And my first client was actually a nonprofit. It wasn't even a singer-songwriter, and I was scared. I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? But it's all the same thing, and it's really just someone outside of your circle looking into you. And I'm just kind of one of those people that looks like a puzzle to me, and it's like, okay, if you just like move this piece and move this piece and move this piece, try that. And then also people want to be held accountable. They want to be held accountable. And if I'm just like, there's one guy, I have a client who he has ADD. He knows he has ADD. And all he wants to do is play his instrument. He just wants to practice. Well, he runs a band, a big band. And I'm like, dude, that's great that you practice, but if you don't have any gigs, what is it going to do for you? And his wife was like, get him a gig. So I told him he had to get up in the morning and he had to do yoga. He had to walk and he could practice for an hour, but then he also had to book for an hour. And within a year, he was playing all over, and his wife gave me a big fat hug. And he was so proud of himself.
That's awesome.
Everybody's got it in them to do what they want. Fear gets in the way, self-doubt, not having enough confidence in yourself. And I'm just here to give it to you.
Who do I know like that?
Well,
Myself.
you've been to Dream Big. You
I
know
have.
what I do. So,
Yeah.
and it's so rewarding to see people just go off and do it. And like technically not even need me anymore. I kind of feel like a mom. Okay, go fly away.
Go fly.
But they come back and they check in every now and then and need a tweak here and there. And yes, it's been so rewarding.
And the business has survived the pandemic?
It didn't.
I'm sorry.
But it's coming back. So I had to move out of my space. I was sobbing. I was so sad because I love my newest space. But
I saw it.
yeah, no, you didn't see the new one, did you?
Ferndale.
Yeah, there's a different one. And that one I loved a lot too. But so I had to move out, and but now I'm going to have a home office. And I'm already starting to get clients back. They're starting to come out. I think spring is getting everybody going. So I have some really new, exciting clients, young, 17, and then I've got one that's 67. So I like that wide range. And I'm working with like the theater, Trinity House Theater is a client of mine, and just a lot of different people. I love it.
It kind of relates to something else that you do that you don't necessarily get paid for. I think you just do it because you're a nice person. But I've noticed that you're kind of a mentor to people like Alison Albrecht, my most recent guest, and she may even be a client. But I mean, you've been there to kind of open doors for some of these young artists. You let them open your shows, and I mean that's got to be an important part of who you are too.
Well, I do that. Allison is a client of mine, and the Keynote Sisters. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Yeah.
And so what I do is I kind of groom them. And then if I feel they're ready, which most of them really are, I just put in a good word at the different venues. And my name, I mean, after all these years, my name
It's worth
goes.
something.
Yep. And so I don't send them until they're ready. And then I know that they'll slay it. And I tell them, you're going to slay it. And they do. And then they end up like either on an opening slot, and then they end up getting their own show, and they're great. I mean, they're just there's so many phenomenal artists out there. I want to do that for more people. People did it for me.
Yeah.
So I want to pay back. It's important that you share anything you can in this business, because it's a tough business.
Completely unrelated, but similar because it involves you being more of a kind-hearted person than most people. You're also, I don't know how much you've done it lately, but you were doing mission work and traveling out of the country. I mean, I remember you raising some funds for the trips at your ARC shows. And
Yeah.
is that still happening? Is that still part of what you're?
Well, I was doing mission work. I didn't do it last year
Well,
because
nobody did anything last year.
they ended up going. They just got back. But my family didn't want me to go, and I had to respect that. And I was nervous anyway, to go because of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
But going to Haiti all those years, it changed me as a human being. It made me grateful, obviously, but what I went in thinking that I was gonna do, they did for me. I mean, giving. I think people in this society, sometimes people hold on to things so much, they don't share. And in Haiti, they share everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and if you're done with your water bottle, they grab it before you're even done, because they utilize every single thing in and around their area. We built churches with sticks.
Wow.
I mean, granted, I don't know how much, it was concrete too, but
Yeah.
they use a lot of different things, and they always had smiles and they always hoped. So one thing I know they always said to me when I went home, they're like, please tell people we're not just, yes, what you would see in Haiti, you'd freak because it looks desolate. Mm-hmm. But the people, there's beauty there. There's a ton of beauty, and they always find hope. And I think that's what it taught me the most, is that there's hope in any situation.
Those are probably the farthest away gigs you've played as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, I got to, the last time I went there, they asked me to play a wedding, sing at a wedding.
Oh, nice.
And they have the coolest, what they do, the bridesmaids, when they walk down with a dance and like 2s and 3s. And it was killer. And they wanted an American song. They wanted the Bob Dylan song, To Make You Feel My Love.
Oh.
So I sang it, and everybody was cool. I also sang, I learned a song in Creole, and I performed that. I was very scared. That was at church. And I'm like, I have no idea if I'm singing this right at all.
I don't speak French.
And I had a young daughter, I call her my daughter, but she, I put her through school there. And so she sang with me. I'm like, get up here. And she's like, no way. I go, you know this language. You'll be fine.
For sure.
So yeah, it was fun.
Well, that kind of leads to another question about traveling. Now, your desire at this point of your career to be a traveling musician, as opposed to staying within the Michigan music region scene, which is more appealing to you at this point? Do you still want to be a traveling musician?
I do. The reason I do, I say that I've gotten comfortable having dinner with my husband and my daughter every night. That is going to be missed. But when I'm on the road, it's just... it's so freeing, and I love to meet new people. One thing I always knew this about myself anyway, but the pandemic drove it home. I need people. I love to meet people, and I love to be around people. My sister's opposite for me. She's like, I could care less, but I enjoy to see how people live. You learn so much about yourself when you deal with people that are outside of your comfort zone, and that's why I like to put myself out there.
Taking the boys on the road again.
Right.
I mean, yeah. I don't know if that's one you want to do, but that came to my mind while you were...
That's really hard to do without the band.
Well, don't do it without
We could
the
do
band.
Road Take Me Away if
you could do that.
If I can remember it.
Don't do something you don't remember. I don't want to put you in a bad position.
I'm sure I remember it. Hopefully. Yeah, I can do that.
All right, Jill Jack, non-acoustic alternatives from Grove Studio.
Yeah, I wrote this when I locked myself out of a hotel room. And I was so upset with myself, so I just wrote this song.
Sometimes I wonder if I'm crazy.
I psyched myself out.
Taking so long.
John's like, oh, great.
One thing's for sure, you can't call me lazy. But maybe you could call it wrong. Is it bad that I like being alone, roaming from town to town? It's not that I don't love you, honey. I should never want to let you down. So road, take me away. Road, take me away. Where you lead me to, what you taking me from, I don't know. But road, take me away. As I drive, I seem to shed the worry. All those crazy thoughts in my head, just pass me by. There's just less and less the feeling of dread. So road, take me away. Road, take me away. Where you leading me to? What you taking me from? I don't know. The road take me away. Miles and miles may keep us apart, and I'm sorry, so sorry, baby. It's just this thing, this living, this dream thing that'll forever be a part of me. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I wonder if I'm crazy, chasing, living this dream so long. One thing's for sure, you can't call me lazy, but maybe, baby, you can call it oh so wrong. No, 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 wrong. Take me away. I said now, road, take me away. Where you lead me to, or what you taking me from, I don't know. Road, take me away. Take me away. I said now, road, take me away. Just the way you lead me to, what you taking me from, I don't know. The road, take me away.
Jill Jack is my guest on Acoustic Alternatives this week. Road, take me away. Jill, would you rather be on the road solo, band, or duo? I think I know the answer to the question, but I'm going to ask anyway.
I would love it if my whole band could go, but it's not always the case, and it's not always practical.
Cost
Like,
effective, yeah.
Yeah, when I wrote this song, part of the frustration was that the boys were supposed to be on the road with me, Mark and Brian Chester White, and they both ended up their wives were pregnant. So I had a choice to either cancel the tour or just do it by myself. And my husband's like, "Oh my God, you're going by yourself," because I'm geographically challenged.
Yeah.
And
I've heard that before from you.
yeah, and he was so afraid for me, and he got me like one of those sticks that, like, I don't know, you're supposed to like throw it and it can hit somebody in the throat. He was making me practice, and he got me mace, and then he would call me and he'd be like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "Well, hang on a second." I'm like, "Okay, mile marker 321." And he goes, "What does that mean?" And I'm like, "I don't know."
He wants to know what city you're
Yeah,
in.
he wants to know what city. And I'm just like, "Mile marker 320." He goes, "How can you possibly drive like that?" I said, you've got the GPS, and I rely 100% on that GPS. So
That's okay.
if I ever lost that, I'd be in trouble.
Well, primarily the music you've made for the last couple of decades would be probably classified as Americana. That's probably the easiest tag to stick on you. You did one songbook album, right? So sort of Great American Songbook.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about doing a straight-on blues record? Because I would actually like to hear your voice do a blues record.
You always ask me that.
It just seems like it would be a thing.
After the last time I played on your show, you told me I should contact Lath, and so I did contact Lath Alsad, and he never got back to me. So you're gonna have to call him and tell him. But no, I agree. I love blues, and I have no problem with the idea of it. And I will say what's happening with the pandemic is kind of unique. Because I couldn't be around my band, I had to rely on myself or just go into the studio and rely on maybe one person playing instead of whole band. So I started co-writing with people, and there is this major in-your-face country song coming out, and it's called "I'm a Bit of a Jesus Girl," and it's like gonna knock your socks off. But it also introduced me to the fact that doing singles make it kind of fun. I don't have to dedicate like a whole year of figuring out what kind of material. I could actually do like a blues song and see how it goes over. So I will work on that, John. That'll be my homework.
Hook up with Thornetta instead.
That's a great idea.
All right. She's probably easy for you to get a hold of. I was actually going to bring up the singles. You play Jamestown Town at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
And Quiet Man, you may be doing at the end of the show. I don't know. But it seems like you're really taking a lead role in your own career at this point. I know you're always kind of in control, but you talked about making your own videos. And tell me a little bit more about that path for you right now, that just kind of taking control.
Well, I think, I've obviously always worn all the hats in my band, whether it be the band leader, the writer, the record, paying for everything too. But in this case, because I couldn't rely on, I guess, other people, I was going Jamestown Town. I was supposed to go down to Jamestown to shoot the video, and I had a videographer set up and everything, and it just didn't happen. So I contacted the photographer, and he's like, "Can I help you with anything?" And he took all the photos of that video. But I think what was really cool, and I was nervous because I'm not a tech person, and I get really freaked out. Like, I think I'm going to screw something up. So Quiet Man was written because I was bored. I put it out there and in a newsletter and on my Facebook pages, hey, if you want me to write a song, hire me to write a song about anything you want. So a woman contacted me. It was her wedding anniversary, and she wanted to surprise her husband. And so I just interviewed her about her life and her husband, and that's where Quiet Man came from.
Nice.
And then for some reason, Sarah Barnes D'Angelo, I don't know if you know her, she's a killer jazz singer, but she was just adorable, and she lives on a farm, and I asked if her and her husband could be in my video, and they said sure. So I shot the video with my phone with iMovie, and I mean, it's not, I'm sure Max might not think it's exceptional, but on the other hand, I was really proud of it. And then when I did Jamestown Town, and I'm also going to be shooting a couple other things, so probably Jesus Girl, I might do it myself. I love it. I wish I could have a camera and really, I mean, I loved editing it. I loved doing it all. And
did the artwork too, right?
Yeah, I painted. That's one thing I started doing in the pandemic, just to relieve stress and anxiety. I just started painting because it calmed me down. And okay, so when I go to sit down and write a song, unfortunately at this point in my career, I write a song and go, okay, now what am I going to do with it? Where am I going to shop it? How are we going to do it? We're going to market it and blah, blah, blah. When I paint, it was for no one but myself. And if you look in my wall in my office, the entire wall is covered with all my paintings. And so I am selling them in note cards. I have a thing called Pen Pal. And so you can choose. I have a series. You have your fall series, spring series, summer series, or just whatever you want. And I sell them, and the note cards come five note cards, 5 envelopes, a pen, and 5 stamps.
Nice.
And that way it encourages people to write instead of texting. And it's really fun to get a note card from someone.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, coming up soon, we mentioned this earlier, March 20th, from the Arc stage, your delayed birthday bash. And thinking about previous birthday bashes, I thought, I wonder what your favorite wine is, because you always seem to have wine on stage. At the
I know,
birthday.
I always feel guilty.
What's your favorite wine?
A Cabernet. Yeah, and it really, it's because the whole band likes Cabernet pretty much. So it's good to get that instead of well, my keyboard player Bernie always liked beer, but no, Cabernet was it, and we would just, that was kind of, we didn't do that a lot at other shows, but my birthday bash we always did, and sometimes to our detriment, but it was fun. We got a little loose lip towards the end in some of those shows, but it was fun.
The answer doesn't have to be the obvious one because I'm feeding you the question, but what's your favorite cookie? And it doesn't have to be the one you're thinking of.
It is your cookies.
It's not my cookie. It's Peggy's cookies.
Peggy's cookies.
Yeah.
Yes, because you give them to me
Well, yeah.
every birthday, and I really missed them on my birthday
Those are
this
kind of my
year.
favorite cookies too, actually.
But what is in them? There's something.
All sorts of things.
Is there like
chocolate chips and
there's
dried
something
cherries.
sweet, dried cherries.
Yeah.
That's the ticket.
Yeah.
Oh my God! But the funny thing is you would give those to me, and I wouldn't eat before a show, so I would hide most of them from the guys.
They were for you.
And then I ate them all the way home, and I was so sick by the time I got home because I had like 15 of them. But they were good.
I had that problem too.
Oh my God, they're good. Yes.
Which
yes.
of your songs is your favorite to perform live?
Oh God. I think that varies. It really varies. It depends on the night and where we're at, and if I'm in a mood.
Or
I don't
band,
think
or
I-
band or solo too, I'm sure, right?
Yeah. With the band, I mean, it just all depends, like there's a song that just popped in my head just now, Ghost, and I never really performed that very much because it's kind of a sad song. But there's something about when the band and I play that song, I feel like it is a perfect fit for Austin City Limits. Like I close my eyes and I feel like we're performing at Austin City Limits, and the band loves it. It's a very very genuine Americana song, and everyone just digs in. And so that one, but it wouldn't be like, I think every night's different. It just depends, and it really depends on how well we pull it off. I've also, with my jazz band, I love doing Billie Holiday. And then, we did a version of Bridge Over Troubled Water. And there's something about every time I do that, I have to literally keep my act together or I start crying. Because I do think about my friends in Haiti when I sing that. So, yeah.
I'm sure, like me, when you go to a concert to see somebody you're a fan of, you're always hoping they're going to play at least two of your favorite songs. You're always like, God, I hope they played that. And so
Yeah.
when I go see you, I'm always hoping for Runnin' and Love Hotel, because those live
Really?
are really great
Oh,
songs.
very good to
those
know.
Those are great songs for live
Yeah.
performance.
Well, I will say that we always close the show with Runnin'
Yeah.
when we have the band. And it is because, oh my God, I feel like I'm getting older with that. But I mean, it kicks butt.
It does.
And I can just let my freak flag fly with that because I just let it all go. I mean, because it's the last song, I give it my all, to the point, like sometimes when I hold those notes that I feel like I'm going to pass out, but I'm like, just hold it a little bit longer, just a little longer, Jill, you won't pass out. It'll be okay. I mean, this is what goes on in my head. But I think that we all like that song.
I know they're all your children, but do you have a favorite song or album or both of yours from your career that you would say? Like you were giving somebody just one thing of yours, an album. Or
I think Songwriter Sessions I think it was the most fun to do because it was live. I mean, there were quite a few that were live, but Songwriter Sessions was a challenge in itself because it was 2 nights at Heartland Music Hall of brand new music that people hadn't heard before. And also Colin Linden came in from Nashville to produce it and to engineer it with Neil Sever. And it was such a family group thing. It was 9 pieces on stage. People like Jason Denny and Drew Howard and Dale Griza and Billy and Nolan
Jen
and
Siggett
Ron.
too, I think, right?
Jen Siggett was.
I was there for
backup
one of those
vocalist.
nights, so yeah.
Yeah, and we sold out both nights. And I remember after we were done, and it was live, so we were recording everything. And I remember after we were done, I'm like, this could have gone so horribly wrong, but it didn't. And it probably got the most airplay out of all my albums too. And because I think we captured the live but made it sound like a studio.
Right.
So it was, yeah, I really enjoyed that one. But I like them all.
No, I
you
think
know.
that's my favorite too, though.
Is
I
it?
want to think about it too. There's lots of great albums, but that's probably the one I would pick up first.
Yeah, most people do. Well, Live Like There's No Tomorrow's on there, so everybody loves that one, and Northern Michigan's on there too. So.
When is that big breakfast that you sing about and Live Like There's No Tomorrow?
When is it?
Yeah, because you want to invite everybody you know, and I'm somebody you know. I want to come to breakfast.
Well, you can definitely come to breakfast. My daughter and I were looking at, I was looking up something and that popped up on video. We were cracking up because we were looking at it and we forgot that she was in that music video. And I invited all my neighbors over for breakfast. So we were all on our deck and everybody looked so young. I was like, oh my God,
young.
So, but yeah, no, as soon as the pandemic's over, I want to have everybody. So you are invited.
Okay,
for
thanks.
Sure. Absolutely.
Just a couple more questions before I let you do another song. If your career were to end tomorrow, what would your favorite moment be? The Seeger Show or something else?
Wow. I don't think the Seeger Show would be the answer there.
It was your dream that you realized. How
It
about
was the dream, but
Folk Festival with Emmylou?
oh yeah, that could have. But see, that one I was so damn nervous I couldn't even focus. I was so scared. I was just like, oh my God. I was like, what am I doing here? Like I was just, that was an incredible show. Thank you for reminding me.
Oh, I was there for that too.
But I think it's more about the experience, the warmth. And so I can't narrow it down to one show per se, but it's the love that I received from the audiences to the point where, you could, it was so much that your heart, like you had to cry because it was so amazing just to feel the realness of it. Applause is one thing, but to actually feel the juice and see people's tears coming down their faces from what you do. I think it's just, I got to wrap it up all in like one thing. I couldn't say one show
No,
did
that
it.
makes sense. That's
Yeah.
a really good answer, actually. The feeling
you.
you get from the audience. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a favorite moment.
That's the hardest thing because of the pandemic. I mean, it's the hardest thing for me.
There's no bottle full of that anywhere.
No, there isn't. I tried to find it in tequila and it wasn't there. I had to,
There's a
like,
worm,
I
but-
did it for like 6 days and I was like, nope, still not there.
All right, we're back to one more dream. Dream big. Money's no object.
Oh, God, thank God.
This is
There's
the
a
dream.
first.
Who do you want to go into the studio with to have produce an album with any band that you could pick? I know we talked about Laith for a second there. Laith did this. He got to do his real album with a dream producer and a dream band. So nothing wrong with your band. Your band is great. But let's say you could pick your favorite musicians to play on your record, and what studio would you do it in with what producer? Have you thought about that?
Well, I always wanted to work with Vince Gill.
Nice.
I think his voice it just blows my mind.
Guitar playing too.
And his guitar playing is just stellar. And as far as the producer goes, gosh, I don't know. There's so many. I don't know about that. But Vince is always. I used to have Vince's picture on one of my vision boards. Lyle Lovett was another one I wanted to work with. Obviously James Taylor. I've always just he blows my mind, and Jackson Brown too. So those are all writers.
But nobody's playing drums on that record. Though.
No. So a band. I don't know. I
Okay.
am sorry, I
No,
can't
that's
tell you
okay.
that.
You haven't thought about it.
I think I would pick different players and put them all together because I think that would be incredible.
Players from your favorite albums. I think that's
Players.
essentially what Laith did. He had,
Yeah, I think I would do that. I think I would, take Vince and then hook him up with somebody else, and then, I'm trying to think of the drummer from the band, but he's no longer with us.
Levon Helm.
Yeah, if Levon was alive, he would be on my list for sure. I've seen him live, and yeah, there's just so many people. Yeah.
It would be a fun album.
That'd be great. That all I know is we'd have fun.
Well, Jill Jack's been my guest today on Acoustic Alternatives. Do you want to do your other new song, Quiet Man, or do you have something else you wanted to close with? What do you feel like?
I do have Quiet Man. I'm just afraid I'm going to screw it up, but
Well-
I'll do it anyway.
Well, you don't have to. It's your. I mean, we're here to talk about you. It's not about what I want.
Well, what do you want?
I want you to be happy.
No, tell me a song you want.
No, seriously, I want you to be happy. I want you to be like, this is what I wanted out of a visit with you today, John. I wanted to play these songs. So
Well,
you play whatever you want.
I did plan on it, but then I was like, I don't know. So, no, but I'll do it.
It's your newest, one of your newest.
Yes, it is.
People
And
make
you can find it. Please go to my YouTube page because I want to get a lot of followers. So, and then you can see my video. Oop, I might want to put it in the right key though. Hang on.
Can't help you with that.
No. Much different.
I don't always know what you're thinking, but I know this to be true. I wouldn't be who I am today without the love I share with you. The butterflies were there at the beginning, and I still feel them flutter around today. With you I have found my voice and learned how and what to say. So I'm thanking you for being my rock, steady and strong. I'm thanking you for the life that we share, someone to lean on. Oh, my quiet man. It started out as a friendship, someone nice to see each day. It grew into a life of love in a sweet and natural way. We passed each other in the hall, a look, a smile, a spark. The safety of your heart and mine had truly left its mark. So I'm thanking you for being my rock, steady and strong. I'm thanking you for the life that we share, someone to lean on. Oh, my quiet man. Though the years have come and gone with its many twists and turns, but in those times it made us strong. Through this journey I have learned that I'm thanking you for being my rock, steady and strong. I'm thanking you for the life that we shared, someone to lean on. Oh, my, oh, my, oh, my quiet man.
One of the two new songs Jill Jack has released in the last 6 months, 3 months, whatever it's been.
Yeah.
Quiet Man.
3 months, I think, yeah.
Thank you so much for being my guest today. It's so good to see your face in person and hear your voice. And
It's
spend
so good to see you.
It really was a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to whatever else you've got. You got the new country single coming soon. And
We have a country single coming out. I've got a religious song coming out, actually. It's called Isaiah, and that one's just stunning. It's almost done. And then, yeah, I think I'm just going to keep plugging along and see what happens. There's no rules anymore.
No rules anymore. Grove Studios is where I've been broadcasting from today. Check them out online if you don't know about this place. A great place to do a band practice. If you're looking for a place to get your band together, it's rentable space, 24/7, keypad operation. I'm going to show Jill around after we're done here. So thanks for joining us again, and thanks for being part of Acoustic Alternatives.
Thank you for having me. I was so excited when you asked. Thanks again, and thanks for all you do.
My pleasure. Next guest will be Al Bettis in a couple of weeks. Hope you can join us then.